Hey, back on another back road once again, and I found something a little interesting. The wife's not with me today. I'm actually working in an area of Kentucky, Owenton, Kentucky, I guess is the nearest town. Perry Park, Kentucky is probably another little wide spot in the road that once had a name and really there's nothing left of it. But today I'm standing here in what is called the Twin Eagles Wildlife Management Area. And I don't know how big it is. I've just driven by it a few times. I'll do a little research, and if there's a link, I'll put it below. But I found the old homestead here, and I just thought it was really neat. There's a lot of these that are just lost to time. And so it's kind of neat that this is still even here, even though the state of Kentucky owns this now. And it's kind of left to go to nature. I'll turn the camera around in just a minute and show you. But it's just a neat little roadside thing that it's rare you get an opportunity to see these without trespassing on private property. So let me turn the camera around and give you a little tour of what I'm checking out today. So I'm standing in front of what was a farmhouse on this homestead. And you can see that nature is kind of taken back over, as it always does. And this is all that's left of the farmhouse. It's falling in. It's got that old asbestos siding on it. But once the roof goes, the rest of the structure usually goes. Some of you don't know, my specialty, my work is in historic restoration work. So I get a lot of calls to look at old farmhouses, not quite like this, but a lot of old buildings, and see if we can salvage them. And then if the roof's leaked, usually that's a sign that it's got a lot more damage than you can fix if it's left to leak a long time. And that's what happens here. It starts at the top and goes down, and nature eventually just takes over. In another 40, 50 years, there may be a few pieces of metal laying around or glass, but the rest of this will all be gone. But this is the house. Let's look at some of the outbuildings. This must have been a huge operation at one time. It's a tobacco farm, and I'll explain that in just a minute. But we got a couple of outbuildings left, mostly full of trash. It's early spring here, so there's lots of snakes. I got to watch for those. It's warm, so we got a lot of snakes here. This part of Kentucky, your main thing you got to worry about with snakes are copperheads, and they're all coming out of hibernation right now, and gotta watch for those. We have a little barn here. I don't know what this was. I can't quite tell if this was just a storage shed of some sort. Right now it's just full of trash, and looks like somebody shot up a can or two here or there. A lot of old targets. And who knows what this was, or if it sat in the family for a long time before it came to the state. But they don't allow target shooting here now. Being a wildlife management area, you can come here and hunt. And there's some water features around here, some ponds. You can fish. Anything you have a license to do and it's in season, you can do it here. That's what's neat about some of these wildlife management areas that we have in Kentucky. Now this barn is a multi-purpose barn. There's that barn, which is a tobacco barn, and there's one more that I'll show you in just a little bit when I'm walking back to my truck. But this is something you don't see much anymore. Oh, cool. Check out the basketball goal. Somebody used to play hoops out here. It's been probably a long time since the people that lived in that house played ball here, but that's kind of cool that it's still here. So, oh look, there's a structure inventory tag. Fish and Wildlife, they do a good job of maintaining their properties, or at least inventorying it, and they kind of know what's what and what's where. I like that they kind of keep track of it. But anyway, this barn is multi-purpose. Let me explain that to you. Roof's coming off of here. This won't be here much longer. This was a tobacco barn, but it also has these stalls for animals. And a long time ago, people used to have mules to power their farm implements, or horses, and they would keep their animals in the barn. And also some barns they would use for, like this, storing tobacco. Look at the cross members here. It's just literally wood, like trees they cut down, strip the branches off, and use that. And what they would do is they would cut the tobacco and put it on stakes. There's some in the other barn. I'll show you some when I'm walking out of here. But they would hang it here, and it would dry until it was ready for market. So let me see. These doors on the side, there are doors built into these tobacco barns. Look at that. And it's just basically a couple of panels, and it's all along the edge of the barn. And that allowed air to flow through so that when the tobacco was drying, you could get the air come in here and help it dry faster and regulate the speed at which it was going to dry and be ready for market. So this barn is kind of a dual purpose barn, as a lot of them were, out of necessity. It did have electric at one time. It's been wired for electric. So let's go see what else is here. I haven't been in this other barn around the corner yet. Let's check it out. Haven't been in here. I'm going to stop filming until I get over there, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm a little closer. This is another dual purpose barn. We'll check it out, but you can see that door is wide open. That's one of those panel doors that would use for would get used for drying out the tobacco. Oh wow, this is huge. This is really cool. Let's see what's in here. This is a lot newer construction than that last one. You'll notice that the support beams actually have concrete forms. The wall of this is actually in formed concrete. So this is a lot newer barn than the one we were just in. It's a lot bigger. No rough cut, well, it's rough cut lumber, but no trees as cross ties here. Here are a bunch of tobacco stakes. Now, I've never done it, so I'm just speaking from what I've heard people that have done it tell me, but see how these are pointed at one end. It was apparently, by all stories I've heard, very backbreaking and labor-intensive work to hang tobacco. You would have to go to the field and cut it. You would have to come stake it on here. Several plants would go to each one of these stakes here. And then they would get hung up in these rafters to dry. I don't remember what they call this room here, but see the tables built in? I know they would strip leaves or stripping the plants. I don't know exactly how that worked, but maybe somebody could tell us in the comments below. So comment below if you know how this was used or what that was used for. But I do know it was very labor intensive. Look at these. You could hang, every post has one of these. Like you could hang more here. See, they're on every single one of these support beams. So it's almost like you could take another board and put it here to get the maximum use out of this space and run across, to fit more tobacco. In fact, there's a board down here. I would venture to say that's what these are. Yeah, they're all along the edge of the barn. So I'm sure that's what those were, is to be able to put those in and maximize the room to dry tobacco. Tobacco used to be Kentucky's main cash crop. Then there were a lot of lawsuits about the cancer that it caused and smoking caused. And tobacco ceased to be the main cash crop in Kentucky. I'll give you one guess what the main cash crop in Kentucky is now. Officially, it's probably soy or corn or something, but yeah. I think it's always been a little something else. But let's go explore this barn. This will be the last one on my way out. I'm parked right behind the barn over there. It's interesting to me how you can open the whole front of the barn as well. You got the door slides, but then you also have hinges here. You can open these and open the whole front of the barn. Look at the top, how it's vented. See the vent? they're not as simple as you think. It's not just, I mean, it's well thought out. It's a simple building, but it's well thought out. It has every bit of it has a purpose. This one also has forms, so it's probably about as old as that other one. See the concrete block forms on the bottom, concrete foundations on the sides. Of course, the sides have doors that open. We have some of these. I don't know what these are called, but their boards are in here as well to go across. And here's all the tobacco stakes. Still here. I'm glad they're still here. A lot of times you come to places like this and it's just been vandalized or robbed of, you know, everything, trash everywhere. It's kind of sad. You know, nothing lasts forever, and this building won't be here forever. But it is nice to be able to see a little piece of Kentucky, how it used to be. And who knows, maybe the state can, maybe they loan this building or lease it to a farmer. I don't know. Some places I know they do have agreements where they'll let farmers use facilities and land in different state properties, and they make a little money off of it. But I'm not sure if this one gets that or not. I've never been here before. And tobacco is not quite as big as it used to be. I know it's still around in Kentucky, but it's not quite what it used to be. I can't tell you the last time driving around, I've seen large-scale tobacco fields. I've seen a few here or there, but mainly what you see anymore is soybean, where there used to be tobacco. So, back out the door here. And back to my truck. Hope you enjoyed the little tour today. This is the only improved area of the Twin Eagles Wildlife Management Area in Owenton, Kentucky.